Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. हरि बोल। जय श्री राधा पुरुषोत्तम मास महामहोत्सव की जय। राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय। यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदा। यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदा। यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना। यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा। गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय, गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय। जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ, बलदेव जय सौभाग्य जय। जय पंचतत्व जय पंचतत्व, पंचतत्व जय पंचतत्व जय। जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे, जय राधा। जय राधा पुरुषोत्तम राधा पुरुषोत्तम राधे जय। जय प्रह्लाद सिंह जय प्रह्लाद सिंह, प्रह्लाद सिंह जय प्रह्लाद सिंह जय। जय जय प्रभुपाद जय 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 गुरुदेव 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 जय निताय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय जय भुवन मंगल श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की अष्टोत्तर शत श्री विष्णु नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट कृष्ण कृपा श्रीमूर्ति अभय चरणार वृंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय श्री श्री पंचतत्व भगवान की जय श्री श्री राधा मद वस्तु सुखबिंद श्रीमन मायापुर चंद की जय श्री श्री राधा पुरुषोत्तम भगवान की जय श्री श्री प्रहलाद विष्णुदेव भगवान की समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की निताय प्रेमानंद सीतानाथ गौर हरि हरि बोल। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं
गोपेश गोपिकाकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna. So we are supposed to read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 26, text 23 and 4. Slok 23 and 24. On the board there is 24. Vaikarika Tejasascha Tamasascha Yato Bhavaha Manas Cha Indriyanang Cha Bhutanang Mahatamapi Vaikarikastejasascha Tamasascha Yato Bhavaha Manasaschendriyanang Cha Bhutanang Mahatamapi Vaikarikastejasascha Tamasascha Yato Bhavaha Manasaschendriyanang Cha bhutanang mahataamapi vaikarikastaijasascha tamasascha yato bhavaha manasyaschendriyanang cha bhutanang mahataamapi. Mataji's. Mahatattva, Mahatattva is slok 23 onwards. So, we shall read from Vaikarikaha, material ego in transformed goodness. Tejasa, material ego in passion. Cha, and tamasha, material ego in ignorance. Cha, also. Yataha, from which. Bhavaha, the origin. Manasa, of the mind. Cha, and. Indriyanam, of the senses, for perception and action. Cha, and. Bhutanam mahatam, of the 5 gross elements. Api, also. Translation of the both slokas 23 and 24. The material ego springs up from the Mahat Tattva, which evolved from the Lord's own energy. The material ego is endowed predominantly with active power of 3 kinds: good, passionate, and ignorant. It is from these 3 types of material ego that the mind, the senses of perception, the organs of action, and the gross elements evolve. Please repeat. The material ego springs up from the Mahat Tattva, which evolved from the Lord's own energy. The material ego is endowed predominantly with active power of 3 kinds: good, passionate, and ignorant. It is from these 3 types of material ego that the mind, the senses of perception, the organs of action, and the gross elements evolve. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In the beginning, from clear consciousness or the pure state of Krishna consciousness, the first contamination sprang up. This is called false ego or identification of the body as self. The living entity exists in the natural state of Krishna consciousness, but he has marginal independence, and this allows him to forget Krishna. Originally, pure Krishna consciousness exists, but because of misuse of material independence, there is a chance of forgetting Krishna. This is exhibited in actual life. There are many instances in which someone acting in Krishna consciousness suddenly changes. In the Upanishads, it is stated, therefore, that the path of spiritual realization is just like the sharp edge of razor. The example is very appropriate. One shaves his cheeks with sharp razor very nicely, but as soon as his attention is diverted from the activity, he immediately cuts his cheek because he mishandles the razor. Not only must one come to the stage of pure consciousness, Krishna consciousness, but one must also be very careful. Any inattentiveness or carelessness may cause fall down. This fall down is due to false ego. From the status of pure consciousness, the false ego is born because of misuse of independence. We cannot argue about why false ego arises from pure consciousness. Factually, there is always the chance that this will happen, and therefore one has to be very careful. False ego, in the basic principle for all material activities which are executed in the modes of material nature, as soon as one deviates from the pure Krishna consciousness, he increases his entanglement in material reaction. The entanglement of materialism is the material mind, and from this material mind, the senses and material organs become manifest. Mahattattat vikurvanat bhagavad virja sambhavat kriya shakti rahankaras trividha samapaddata vaikarikastai jasascha tamasascha yato bhavaha manaschendriyanangcha bhutanang mahatamapi. The material ego springs up from the Mahatattva, which evolved from the Lord's own energy. The material ego is endowed predominantly with active power of three kinds: good, passionate, and ignorant. It is from these three types of material ego that the mind, the senses of perception, the organs of action, and the gross elements evolve. So, this material ego springs up from the Mahatattva. So, maybe we could find out what is Mahatattva. Of course, you all know what is Mahatattva. Still, I am going to read from the same Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 5, about Mahatattva. The personality of Godhead, the master of all living entities, existed prior to the creation as one without a second. It is by his will only that creation is made possible, and again everything emerges in him. This Supreme Self is symptomized by different names. So the Supreme Person, Master of all living entities, as we know from beginning that first of all Krishna was there. And from Krishna the first expansion comes out as Balaram. And from Lord Balaram he expands into 4 quadruples, that is Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna and Aniruddha. And from this Sankarshan, the second quadruple, this second person, Vasudeva Sankarshan, from the Sankarshan, Narayan comes out. Lord Narayan is from Sankarshan. Sankarshan is from Balaram. Balaram is from Krishna. And from Narayan again divides himself into 4. Second time, Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna and Aniruddha. So from the second Sankarshan, Mahavishnu, Lord Mahavishnu is born. This Mahavishnu is laying in the causal ocean, and from his breathing, innumerable universes come out. In Brahma Samhita, Yasyaika Nishosita Kala Mathabalambo Jivanti Loma Vilaja Jagadanda Natha Vishnur Mahan Sayhajasya Kala Vishesho Govindam Adi Purusham Tamahang Bhajami. So this Mahavishnu breathes out innumerable universes. And when he inhales, then all these innumerable universes go into his body. As we breathe, we have no idea how many breaths we are inhaling, how many are exhaling. We don't even think about. So Mahavishnu, Lord Mahavishnu is also inhaling and exhaling like us, but his inhaling and exhaling has got very big difference from us. As we know, this one breathing time of Mahavishnu is the one lifetime of Brahma, or the one duration of one Brahmanda universe. So then, how we know? As we have 4 yugas, Satya, Treta, Dwapar, Kali, these 4 yugas together makes 43 lakhs and 20,000 years. 43 lakhs means 4 lakh, 4,320,000 years. And when this kind of 4 yugas multiplied by 1,000, that is equals to Brahma's 1 day time, 12 hours. And another 12 hours of Lord Brahma makes a 24 hours, 1 day and night. And of such days, 30 days make 1 month. These 30 days have got different names also, like we have 12 months names, 7 days names. Similarly, 30 days names are also there. And in that way, 12 months of Lord Brahma makes 1 year of him, and 100 years of Lord Brahma makes his 1 life. That means 43 lakh 20,000 into 2 into 360 into 100 equals to Brahma's one lifetime. That is one breathing time of Lord Mahavishnu. This Mahavishnu is not directly the Lord. Mahavishnu is coming from Krishna to Balaram to Sankarshan to Narayan to second Sankarshan and then Mahavishnu. So many more steps are there beyond. Right? Difference between us and demigods. We know that our 1 year makes 1 day for demigods. That means difference is of 360 times. So, time difference is like this. That means bodily size also can be different. So, suppose we are 5 feet approximate. So, demigods will be how many feet? 360 into 5. Only 1800 feet. Right? 1800 feet. The demigod's height is 1800 feet. Means 20-story building. 20-story building may be equal with this height. Suppose we go to demigods, to the heavenly planets, we try to communicate with them. What will be the situation? 20-story building and even 5 feet. Isn't it? So, this big difference is there. And Prabhupada says that Chandralok is a heavenly planet. Chandralok is a heavenly planet where people are trying to go. So, even if they go, what they will do with this silly, petty body, 5 feet body, with the 1800 feet demigod. So it is not possible. It is not possible. If you want to go to Devalok, the place of demigods, then you got to prepare yourself through devotion, through your puja, etc. In that way, you will be transferred there, maybe at the next life. Yanti deva brota devan. Those who worship demigods, they go to place of demigods. So it's possible. It's not impossible. But not with this fragile, petty body. We go there and what we will do there? Similarly, everything else is different also. The time is different, size of the body is different, everything is different, capacity is different. So, to think of going to demigods, to the heavenly planets or the moon planet is a silly thing. It's a foolish idea. And Prabhupada, during Prabhupada's time only, this was going on, that they are going to moon in the 1970s. So, In that way, Prabhupada again and again said that it is not possible to go to moon. But even some of Prabhupada's disciples, one or two, they didn't like Prabhupada's statement and they ran away. Now Prabhupada is not speaking the right thing. At the time it was being telecasted in the television. They are landing there, they're walking on the moon, etc., etc. And this disciple say, Prabhupada, just see, they have landed, they're working on the moon. It was not possible. So nowadays, as we understand, to go to moon, the spacecraft has to penetrate through the gravitation. The spacecraft has to penetrate through the gravitation to the space. And from space, it has to again enter in the gravitation of moon and land there. After landing, after finishing the work, again it has to penetrate through the moon gravitation, come to the space, and then again enter into earthly gravitation, and then land here. So this kind of activity is required to go to moon. And if they have done this big thing in the year 1970-71, why they are not going now? What happened to the technology? If they have done that so many years ago, say 50 years ago at least, or 55 years, so they must have developed that furthermore. And in that way, it could be possible that every week they can go and come back. Isn't it? Should have been done. But they're trembling in fear just to go to space and to come back from the space. One astronaut, that Kalpana Chawla, gone. Another Mataji, what's the name? Sunita Mataji from Gujarat. After going there, she was in difficulty to come back. So whole world was praying for her. Please, no, do not kill him. Do not kill her. So finally she came back. So just from the space to come back, they are finding so much difficulty. What to speak of going to moon? So in this way we can understand the difference between the demigods and us are quite big. Anyway, so our topic is a bit different. So the personality of Godhead, master of all living entities, existed prior to the creation as one without a second, only one. It is by His will only that creation is made possible, and again everything merges in Him. This Supreme Self is symptomized by different names. Next sloka, the Lord, the undisputed proprietor of everything. The Lord, the undisputed proprietor of everything, was the only seer. Seer means one who sees. So there was no other seer than the Lord Himself. The cosmic manifestation was not present at that time, and thus He felt imperfect without His plenary and separated parts and parcels. Alone is not enough. How long can we stay alone? So, the material energy was dormant, whereas the internal potency was manifested. So, in that way, Lord was alone there. And then the Lord is the seer and the external energy, which is sin, works as both cause and effect in the cosmic manifestation. So, seer and sin. So, the Lord is the seer. It is said, Sa Oikshata. He glanced. He saw. Ikshan. Oikshata is from Ikshan. Ikshan means seeing. So, the Lord saw. He glanced upon material energy, Maya. The Lord glanced over material energy, external Maya. So this seeing made pregnancy to external energy. And the Lord is the seed giver. And through His glance, He impregnated material nature. So it is not like our material world. The Lord can impregnate through any of His senses. His senses are able to do work of any other senses. Just like we see when Vyasdev was to impregnate three of the how you say, his brothers' wives, sister-in-laws. So, three of them or four of them were impregnated just by Vyasdev, just by glancing. And if necessary, they can get the child born immediately there. This is spiritual, not material. So the Lord glanced over material nature, and material nature became agitated, as well as got impregnated, and then started producing different types of living entities. Lord is the seer and the external energy which sin works as both cause and effect in the cosmic manifestation. O greatly fortunate Vidura, this external energy is known as Maya or illusion, and through her agency only is the entire material manifestation made possible. The Supreme Living Being, in His feature as Transcendental Purusha incarnation, who is the Lord's plenary expansion, impregnates the material nature of three modes, and thus, by the influence of eternal time, the living entities appear. So, in that way, the first of all, that Mahat Tattva was first Therefore, thereafter, the influence of the incarnations of eternal time, the supreme sum total of matter, called Mahat Tattva, became manifested. And in this Mahat Tattva, they unalloyed goodness. The Supreme Lord showed the seeds of universal manifestation out of his own body. So here says that thereafter influenced by the interaction of eternal time, the supreme sum total of matter called the Mahat Tattva became manifested by the influence of time, and time is the Lord himself. Time is none other than the Lord himself. He says, Kalosmi, Lokakshayakrit Prabhuddha. I am time to destroy everything. Kala comes as death. Those who do not want to surrender to Krishna, then Krishna comes to him as death. Then he has to surrender. So, in that way, the Mahat Tattva was manifested, which evolved from the Lord's own energy. Mahat Tattva evolved from the Lord's own energy. Bhagavad Virya Sambhavat. Bhagavad Virya Sambhavat. Bhagavad means the Lord, Virya means potency, and Sambhavat from produced from. So, from the energy of the Lord, the material ego is endowed predominantly with active power of three kinds: goodness, passion, and ignorance. So, ahankar. Ahankar means false ego. False ego is to consider I am this body. I am this body means I am in ahankar, false ego. The real ego is different. Real ego is I am servant of Krishna. Whereas I am this body is false ego. So this false ego then ahankare matta hoiya nitai pada pasoriya asottere satya kori mani. Being mad by false ego. Being mad by false ego, ahankare matta hoiya nitai pada pasoriya, forgetting the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. What happens? Asottere satya kori mani. I consider the myth to be truth. I consider the myth to be truth. So when we are influenced by ahankar, that I am this body. Also it is said in the scriptures that considering the body to be self, to be the self, Jasyatma buddhi kunape tidhatuke sadhi karatradi shubhomay jadhi jatirtha buddhi salilena karhichit janeshwa viggeshu saiva gokara. His cow or ass. If one thinks he is the body, he is a cow or ass. Means no brain, so to say. Brainless. One who thinks I am this body is brainless. Is there anyone? Is there anyone? Brainless? That's why the Lord says them a rascal. The Lord says they were rascal. And Prabhupada used the same term again and again, the rascals. Namang duskritana mudha prapaddanta naradhama. Murkha. Mudha means foolish, rascal. Namang duskritana mudha, those who are miscreants and rascal, they don't surrender to Krishna. And they are, duskritana means miscreant and naradhama. Namang duskritana mudha prapaddanta naradhama. Maya aparita jnana ashring bhavasyata. So many designations are there. For those who do not surrender to Krishna, they are lowest of mankind, naradham, and their knowledge has been taken away by Maya. Maya aparita jnana. Ashring bhavasyata. Also, they are of demoniac mentality. Their demoniac mentality, they are of demoniac mentality, and their knowledge have been snatched away by Maya, and they are the miscreants and the rascals. So, in that way, Prabhupada many times told that they are rascals. So, suppose someone tells me a rascal, should I become upset? There is no point to becoming upset because I am a rascal. Otherwise, I would not have come to this material world. We came to this material world because we are rascals. So, in the beginning, from clear consciousness or the pure state of Krishna consciousness, the first contamination sprang up. This is called false ego or identification of the body as self. I am this body. The living entity exists in the natural state of Krishna consciousness, but he has marginal independence, and this allows him to forget Krishna. The devotees, they could have thought, better I will go somewhere else and do something else than coming to class. But they thought, no, let us go to class and hear the class. So this independence is there. Limited independence is there with us. And the Lord is testing us how we utilize this limited independence. If we want to be liberated, bandhaya vishaya shakti, muktoi nirvishayang manaha. Mind is the cause of bondage or liberation. Mano eva manushyanam karanang bandha mokshayo. Mind is the cause of liberation or bondage. Bandhaya vishaya shakti. For bondage, you become attached to material enjoyment, material assets, material world. If you want to become bound by material nature, then you do this thing, that you become attached to material enjoyment, material world, material assets, material name, fame. This will be good for bondage. And if you want to be liberated, muktai nirvishayang manaha, mind has to be freed from material attachments, enjoyments, and all these things. So the mind has to be freed from this kind of attachment. Originally, pure Krishna consciousness exists, but because of misuse of marginal independence, there is a chance of forgetting Krishna. This is exhibited in actual life. There are many instances in which someone acting in Krishna consciousness suddenly changes. We see generally devotee children. At the beginning, they remain Krishna conscious. And as they grow, many of them jump out to material world. How? Some enjoyment is there. So in that way, the children of devotees also jump out from the Krishna conscious area. So it is quite possible. So in the Upanishads it is stated, therefore, that the path of spiritual realization is just like the sharp edge of razor. The example is very appropriate. One shaves the cheeks with a sharp razor. Actually, previously, in the previous ages, this shaving system was not advanced like present day. And they would shave their face with just many times open blade. It is very dangerous. Anytime it may cut. Used to cut. So they used to there's a thing for prevention, fitkari, alarm, so that these cut areas remain safe. So in that way, in those days, shaving beard was very difficult thing. Of course, nowadays better razors came out, and we are quite at ease. That not that big problem. But previously it was that shaving your cheeks, it may cut. So the example is very appropriate. Immediately cuts his cheek because he mishandles the razor. So if we are careless in our spiritual life, any time it may cause disaster. Just like if you are driving either bike or car, you have to keep your ear ready, your eyes ready, hands ready, feet ready, mind ready, right? Your whole body has to remain alert while driving. But if even some area is not attentive, not awake enough, it can cause a big disaster, right? Similarly, Prabhupada says this devotional life is in the battlefield. In the battlefield, you do not know from which side attack may come. From any side, any kind of attack may come, and you have to avoid that, you have to save yourself from that, and you have to attack also. A battlefield is not a place to, relax. So similarly, the devotional life is also, Prabhupada says, this is like a battlefield. Our battle is against Maya. The day you started devotional life, you started a battle between Maya and you. And it is going on. And if we are callous, if we are not attentive enough, not awake, alert enough, then any time we may be attacked. So, in that way, devotional life is very life of carefulness. Unless you are very careful, Prabhupada used to say, I have got one complaint about my disciples, that they are not afraid of Maya. Right? Devotees are not afraid of Maya. That was Prabhupada's complaint. That means we should be afraid of Maya. We should be afraid of Maya and similarly take necessary precautions in advance so that we are not succumbed to Maya's clutches. Of course, it is, you will not understand immediately, very tricky. Maya's attack is very tricky. We will feel, oh, it's okay, I am in Krishna consciousness. But Maya will drift you away from your Krishna consciousness. So, in the scriptures it is said, Uttishtata Jagrata, wake up, get up, wake up, Prapavaran Nibodhato. You have got this human life and good association, and you become wise. And Khurushodhara Nishita Durattaya Durgang Pathastat Kavaya Vadanti. The sages, the wise people say that this is a very dangerous path to traverse. Durgang Pathastat. Durgam means very difficult to traverse. So, this path of spiritual life is very dangerous. So, we have to be very careful, not to be callous, not to be out of, alertness. No, we have to be very, very alert, and in that way we have to proceed further. Hare Krishna. Any question, comment? Time is almost up. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for the class. Prabhuji, at the last you said that we have to be alert in Krishna consciousness. Can you describe this alertness? What should we be alert of? Like, are we getting into sense gratification, or am I reducing the standard of service, or what does this alertness mean?
So you have already answered the question. So you have already answered the question. No problem.
It's sense gratification.
Yeah. So we are not afraid of your advancement. You are quite alert, I understand. Okay? Srila Prabhupada ki jai.